Okay. Okay. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I am the Y2K collector and I am back. I do have another quick pickups here to go over with you. Just a few. Got about 6 pickups that I've been able to negotiate. It's interesting. I feel like, that the same folks that are having their yard sales have actually started to turn to sites like OfferUp and Mercari. And you're actually able to negotiate with folks online kind of the same way you would at a yard sale. The only difference is you just got to factor in shipping and handling. But it's still pretty much the same experience. The only thing that I would say is that obviously the online seller is going to be priced higher generally because they're going to usually look up the price of the item that they're selling before they list it. And if they don't, a lot of times these apps or these platforms will actually tell them or suggest what they should actually be selling these items for. And then there's also, or always those that just, put things up for auction. But long and short of it is that, I'm finding that as time goes on, there really isn't going to be much of a difference between online negotiations versus in-person negotiations, whether you're negotiating in a store or a pawn shop or whatever the case may be. Most common titles can be bought in lots, where the average cost of a game is about $3 to $3. So that kind of really just takes away from the joy of, not the joy, but it takes away from the time value of actually going to a thrift store, because if you can get the same deal just by buying in bulk, that might be a way that some folks can go to quickly build certain types of collections. But there are always those titles and those games that just aren't as accessible. You just never see them. And so that's where you kind of have to go out and really negotiate or go to your local store. And then even then, sometimes your local store may never get that game. You may be going there for years and never see the game you want. And it's like, man, what am I left to do? So, but anyway, I'm jabbering and I'm blabbering. So just want to go over a few pickups here. As you know, I've really been kind of moving towards handhelds. There are some great handhelds out there, some great handheld games rather out there, particularly for the Nintendo DS systems, the 3DS and DS. So we're going to start off with a couple of DS pickups here. So I've always been a fan of this series, and when I saw that they had an entry on the DS, I thought that it would be cool to check out. And so I picked up the Suikoden Tierkreis series. I feel like that's how you say that. If I'm butchering that, let me know. Give me the pronunciation in the comments. But this is a Suikoden game, RPG game by Konami on the Nintendo DS. The graphics look pretty cool. Like the way it looks, the whole top-down kind of feel. If you've played a Suikoden game, you kind of know what those play like. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it looked cool. So I wanted to add this one to the collection there. And then I picked up this one here. I have this on the PSP as well as the Dreamcast, but this is Phantasy Star. I have a bunch of Phantasy Star games, but this is Phantasy Star Zero by Sega, another kind of action RPG on the DS. And this is one that I added in. I like the way it looked. And there are some pretty cool RPGs on the DS. I'm more about that action on this channel, but I do have a select number of RPGs, the ones that I think really stood out to me. A lot of times there'll be RPGs that have some action elements. So this is one that I went ahead and grabbed up. All right. Then we have some 3DS pickups and some pretty cool ones here. We're going to kick it off with the Samurai Warriors Chronicles. So y'all know I love my hack and slash, and if I'm going to have a 3DS, I am going to have some hacking and slashing on it. So I went ahead and picked this up. Very inexpensive, these 3DS games. I guess it's because the console's not that old. Like, it's old, but it's not super old. So you can still find good deals on it. And then the next one that we got here, I'm a huge fan of this series as well. So this is one I had to have on the system. This is Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate. And this is on the 3DS. I have a bunch of Castlevania games on the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, DS, now the 3DS. This gets added into the family. And I am still waiting on that limited run anniversary collection to come in the mail. We'll be excited when that gets in. We'll definitely show that on the channel. And then the last 3DS game that we had here in the bunch is Shinobi. So this looks like a cool, like 3D, like it's like a 2D side scroller, but like in a 3D format. Action, running, jumping, a little hacking, a little slashing, Ninja Warrior style. So this is a pretty cool one, and I added it in to the DS collection. Just games that really kind of pique my interest, you know, just based on how they look here. The last one that I grabbed up was this one is another one for nostalgia. I do remember getting this game when I was in high school. Didn't have a lot of games for this system when I had it originally, but I got this. This is one of the few systems that I got when it first came out. And I remember it was the GameCube, and I remember Batman Vengeance being like the second or third game that I got on the system. I know first was Star Fox Adventures. I feel like Batman was the second game that I got, and this game was cool. It was cool. It was a cool game. It made me really like the graphics. I watched Batman the animated series growing up, so this was, I remember all of these levels, playing through these levels. This is a good time. So grab this up on the GameCube and added it into the small GameCube collection I have. I only have 4 games for the GameCube, but it's a small and slowly growing collection. Just really starting with the more nostalgic stuff. But that really does it for me here. This quick midweek catch up with y'all. Can't believe how fast we're moving through December. Man, we're almost the third way through the month. It's pretty crazy how fast time is flying. And the holidays are going to be here, and I'm sure there's so many of us excited about the presents, gifts, new games, new gadgets, and really just having that time off to enjoy it all with friends and family. But thank you for checking out this video, checking out my pickups. Let me know what you've been picking up. Put it down in the comments below. I am the Y2K Collector. You have a good week. Take it easy.